It's time for a conceptual aside. Name-value pairs and objects. As we talk about JavaScript, objects are incredibly important, and we're going to spend a lot of time on them. But we need to understand what we're talking about when we say an object in regards to JavaScript itself. First of all, we need to understand the term name-value pair. It's quite simple, actually. A name-value pair is a name which maps to a unique value. Now, that name may be defined more than once, but it can only have one value in any given context. Remember, we're talking about execution contexts. So in any particular execution context, that is a section of code that is running, a name can only exist and be defined with one value. However, that value may be more name-value pairs. Okay, that sounds a little confusing, but all we're really saying is there's a name, and that name is assigned a value, but that value could be other collections of name values. Okay, for example, this is a name-value pair. You've probably done things like this all the time in code. You have a name, a variable, and a value. In this case, address is the name, and 100 Main Street is the value. That's a name-value pair. Pretty simple. Now, when we're talking about objects, we can then use this name-value pair concept to define them. An object is a collection of name-value pairs. That's the simplest possible definition of an object when you're talking about JavaScript. Now, other languages, other programming languages, might have more complex concepts when it comes to objects, but when we're dealing with objects in JavaScript, that's really what they are. They're a collection of name-value pairs. So, for example, I might have a name, and that name has a value, but that value might be a couple of other names and values. And inside that name, that value might be other name-value pairs. And I might have a few of these. So I have a name and a value, but the value might be other lists of names and values, which in turn might have other lists of names and values. For example, the address example we had before that was just a name-value pair, here it's a collection of name-value pairs. Address is a collection of other names and values. Address is still the name, but the value is a collection. Street is and main is a name-value pair. Number and 100 is a name-value pair. Apartment is a name, and its value is another list or collection of name-value pairs. Floor is the name, 3 is the value, number is the name, 301 is the value. That's an object in JavaScript. When we're talking about objects in JavaScript, we're talking about collections of name-value pairs, and that value might itself be another object. So apartment has a collection of name-value pairs, and that's an object. So address, its value is an object. Apartment, its value is an object. You see how they nest down? Don't think any more deeply about objects in JavaScript than this. We're going to see some interesting things you can do with objects, but at its core, this is what an object is in JavaScript. It's just that simple.